You know a movie is about to explode when it breaks records before anyone has even seen it. And that's exactly what's happening with Wicked for Good. The moment tickets went live, fans practically stamped the internet, pushing Fandango to numbers even the studio didn't expect. This isn't just another holiday release. It's being called the biggest PG-rated pre-seller in Fandango history, and the strongest overall pre-seller of 2025. Think about that for a second. Bigger than superhero tentpoles, pop star events, and even massive animated franchises. And the craziest part, the movie doesn't even open until November 21. Today, we're diving deep into why Wicked for Good is creating this insane momentum, what it means for the box office, and what fans can expect when they return to Oz for the grand finale of this two-part saga. So grab your broomstick or your Glinda bubble, because this story is only getting started. It all began on October 8th, when advance tickets quietly went on sale, and then not so quietly shattered every metric Fandango uses to measure hype. Instantly, it overtook long-standing PG juggernauts like Beauty and the Beast, the first Wicked movie, and even Frozen 2, which held the crown for years with its massive $130 million start. This wasn't a gentle climb. It was a rocket launch. And remember, these comparisons are all based on matching points in their pre-sale cycles. So we're talking apples to apples. Wicked for Good didn't just edge past them, it elbowed them out of the way. Fans clearly weren't waiting around this time, and with Cynthia Erivo and Ariana Grande returning for what promises to be an emotionally explosive finale, the excitement is on another level. It's not often a sequel outmuscles its own first chapter in momentum, but Wicked seems determined to defy gravity in every sense. But here's where things get even more interesting. Wicked for Good isn't just topping PG movies, it's topping everything released this year. That includes box office beasts like Demon Slayer Infinity Castle, and even Superman, which had been sitting comfortably near the top of the charts with a $125 million pre-sale benchmark. Then there was Taylor Swift's massive event-style release, pulling in tens of millions from devoted fans. Still, Wicked for Good surpassed them all at the same point in their pre-sale timelines. That's not normal for a musical. That's not even normal for a fantasy film. This kind of momentum is typically reserved for superhero finales or decade-defining franchise events. And yet here we are, watching a Broadway adaptation dominate the cinematic battlefield like it's nothing. Clearly, the world of Oz has cast a spell that audiences are more than happy to fall under again. Now, when Wicked for Good first hit early tracking on October 30th, experts were already predicting a huge opening, somewhere between $112 and $115 million. But insiders are now whispering that those estimates might be too conservative. With the strength of pre-sales alone, it's entirely possible the movie could push well past its initial projection. And remember, the first Wicked opened to a stunning $112.5 million, breaking records for Broadway adaptations brought to film. But analysts warn of something important. Fan-skewing movies, especially those with a strong female audience, tend to be heavily front-loaded. That means huge early sales don't always guarantee an equally massive opening weekend. Sometimes, the anticipation makes the early numbers look even bigger than the final totals. Still, the hype is undeniable, and the possibility of a new PG opening record, currently held by 2019's The Lion King at $191.7 million, isn't completely off the table. One thing that's helping drive this frenzy is the fan loyalty built by the first film. Wicked wasn't just a movie, it was an experience. Audiences fell in love with Cynthia Erivo's powerhouse performance and Ariana Grande's transformation into Glinda. Their dynamic created a kind of cinematic electricity that's rare to capture, and now fans are desperate to see how their stories conclude. Add to that John M. Chu's reputation for creating visually stunning, emotionally charged musicals, and you've got a recipe for a blockbuster sequel. The studio has been smart too, teasing just enough new music, new costumes, and new characters, including a mysterious Cowardly Lion cameo, to keep theory videos and fan speculation alive for months. With each new teaser drop, the anticipation only grew, building the kind of long-term buzz money can't buy. Fandango's EVP Jeremy Heinlein put it perfectly when he said fans were shattering records the moment tickets became available. That phrasing isn't an exaggeration. Sales surged so intensely that internally, the film was immediately flagged as a once-in-a-decade event release. Heinlein also called Wicked for Good an electrifying finale, promising that audiences returning to Oz would be treated to a genuinely cinematic event, with visuals and sound designed for the biggest screens possible. That kind of language doesn't get used lightly. It tells us the studio is confident, not just in the music, not just in the performances, but in the massive emotional payoff Part 2 is expected to deliver. When a company like Universal starts speaking in terms usually reserved for mega franchises, you know they're betting big. But what exactly makes Wicked such a cultural force? Part of it lies in the legacy of Gregory Maguire's reimagined Oz universe, which has captivated fans for decades. The Broadway show built an almost mythic relationship with audiences, telling a story that blends fantasy with emotional real-world themes: friendship, identity, power, and sacrifice. When the first film successfully translated that magic to the big screen, a new generation joined the fandom. And now, with Part 2 promising the dramatic, heart-wrenching conclusion that theater fans have known for 20 years, the stakes feel even higher. Viewers aren't just hoping for a good movie. They're looking for closure, catharsis, and even a little heartbreak. That emotion. Industry insiders are also pointing out how perfectly timed Wicked for Good is. A pre-Thanksgiving release is one of the most strategic slots on the calendar, giving movies a rare combination of high-demand weekdays, huge holiday weekend crowds, and built-in family audience appeal. Frozen, Moana, and Hunger Games films have all dominated this window in past years, with Wicked being PG-rated, musical, nostalgic, and visually spectacular. It checks every box for a multi-generational crowd. And that's before we even mention the soundtrack, which is already projected to make waves on streaming platforms. If the first movie's songs became viral TikTok moments, the finale may explode into a cultural event, pulling even casual viewers into theaters out of pure curiosity. Meanwhile, box office analysts are watching something interesting unfold: the rise of female-led tentpole films. In a year filled with action-heavy releases, Wicked for Good is proving that audiences are hungry for stories centered on emotional journeys, rich world-building, and character-driven spectacle. This isn't a superhero movie, yet it's performing like one. It's not a franchise built on decades of lore, yet it carries that weight. It's a musical, a genre many once believed to be unpredictable at the box office, yet it's now outpacing top-tier blockbusters. This tells studios something valuable. When you combine passionate fandom with quality storytelling, genre doesn't matter. People show up, and Wicked is leading that charge with emerald green confidence. So as we count down to November 21st, one thing is absolutely clear: Wicked for Good isn't just another sequel. It's a cultural moment, a farewell to characters fans have cherished, a visual feast for movie lovers, and possibly the next record-breaking entry in Hollywood history. Whether it hits Lion King levels or lands slightly below, the achievement is already massive. But the real magic will happen when theaters fill, lights dim, and every fan, old and new, returns to the land of Oz for one final journey. And when that first note hits, when Elphaba and Glinda step back onto the screen, audiences everywhere will feel why this story resonates so deeply. Because sometimes, the movie isn't just watched, it's experienced. And Wicked for Good might just be the event of the year.